Hello? Hey, all right. Can't talk Caps without the voice of the Caps.
He does have a very good voice.
Better radio voice than I have. Steve Kolbe, our buddy, joins us live here at Kettler. Steve, what's up, man?
It matches the face.
Hey, so, Steve, how are you doing today? How's everything
are you trying to put on your broadcast voice now? Yeah, I see what you're doing.
Well,
Hey,
see,
so,
you know
Steve,
what?
hey, how you doing, Steve?
LaVar, a veteran move by you because you're bundled up.
Yes.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
your
Well,
partner
I'm bundled up. No,
he's bundled up.
I'm bundled up organically. I'm bundled up with the suit that I carry with me at all
I
times.
have
He's
the
one
same,
of the
I have
polar
the same
bears.
trouble.
Yeah, you
Steve,
know.
I lived in Phoenix, and we went to Coyotes games, and you would go in, and everybody was wearing parkas, and they were wearing all these. And I forget, these are desert people. I'm at home in temperatures like this. This is built for me.
Yeah, see me, I'm black, so I like to stay warm.
He's
it's
a
little,
tropical people.
It's a little cool in here, so I like to try to bundle up a little bit, Steve. You know what I mean?
Well, it's great to have you guys out
Yes.
here. Everything gets underway here today. Obviously, the players have been skating for a few days and all summer for that fact back at home wherever they do their training. But it's a packed house here today, and this is the first step toward where everyone wants to get to eventually in their NHL careers.
Now, we talked about a lot of things. We talked to DJ King yesterday, and we obviously talked during the course of the season last year, Steve, about the what we saw as a lack of toughness on this team. We feel like we may have addressed that with bringing in DJ, obviously, in the offseason. We lose obviously Jose, but we have Norvert and Varlamov. Do you feel as though, and this is always going to be the question I ask you, because I feel like there was so much that was accomplished on Jose's watch, and even though we feel confident about these younger guys coming in, stepping in for Jose, doesn't that give you a little bit of the creepies, like the heebie-jeebies a little bit?
Well, I think in terms of goaltending, what Jose Theodore did last year, guys, in terms of going 20-0-3 in a 23-game stretch was absolutely remarkable. And really helped this team get where it was with their regular season performance. Now, in Semyon Varlamov, a guy that the Capitals hope can stay healthy for the entire season and not have nicks and bumps throughout the way that cost him games, like was the case last year. And then Michael Neuvirth, who has to really parlay those back-to-back Calder Cup championships. And you're looking at two 21-year-old goaltenders, two early 20s goaltenders that are really going to try to see who's going to be this number one goalie when training camp breaks and that first game gets underway in October. It's going to be an interesting battle. Bruce Boudreau is not anointing either one of these guys as the number one man right now.
Steve Kolbe, the voice of the Capitals, joins us on 106.7 The Fan, broadcasting live from Kettler Iceplex out here for the rookie game. I want to talk about what it means to bring in an enforcer, Steve, and we knew that was something. I mean, there were guys that picked up the mantle and fought last year and when they were called to, but they didn't really have that presence. And a lot of fans, they like the Donald Brashear type. They go out there and drop the gloves. But this is a team that's built on speed. And how many minutes is DJ King really going to see? And then how much involvement will he have? And can a guy like that fit in with a team that's as fast and as talented as the Capitals?
I think a guy like that can fit into the scheme of things with Bruce Boudreau. You know that Ovechkin and Backstrom and Alexander Sem and guys of that nature are going to see their fair share of minutes, 22, 23 per night, while the fourth liners, a DJ King, maybe a Boyd Gordon, a Matt Bradley, are going to see their numbers perhaps drop, especially if you're down in a contest. That's when those third and fourth liners lose the minutes of ice time, when you've got to make a comeback. But DJ King does serve a role. He had that early season injury last year, which really cost him the bulk of his year with another team. But you're looking at a guy that can really protect your resources. You protect Ovechkin, protect Backstrom, protect Semin, not let guys get the jump on these guys without knowing there may be something down the line, maybe not in that game, but maybe the next time around.
Hey, I got to ask you, we were talking to our buddy JP from Japers Rink yesterday. It does a great job of keeping up with the team. And I asked him who is going to be the breakout guy this year for the Washington Capitals, and how do you feel they'll stack up in terms of with Ovechkin and all those guys? I thought it may have been Semin. He brings up Eric Fair. Do you see Eric Fair as being the breakout guy this year that kind of takes that next step in up the ladder of the totem pole on this team, so to speak?
Big year last year, 21 goals for Eric Fair last year, and what I thought was somewhat of a breakout year for him. Before last season, I thought that Thomas Fleischmann was going to have to reach that 20-goal plateau. He did last year. I'd expect nothing less of Thomas Fleischmann this year, but I'll take you back to the blue line for the Capitals in terms of bust-out years. If guys like John Carlson and Carl Alsner can continue to improve, not only inside their own zone, but also chip in offensively like they did in the AHL playoffs, I think those two guys could be poised for a big year back on that blue line.
There's been a lot of criticisms that came out last season about Mike Green maybe wanting to be more of an offensive guy instead of doing things defensively for this team. Do you see this being a year where, Mike Green maybe puts it all together, or is that just unjust criticism of Mike Green?
A lot of people wanted him out of town at the end of the playoff run.
I would say that often comes because when what do they say? Winners want the ball.
Right.
When you want your team to win and when the team wants to win, any disappointment like the Capitals had last year against Montreal will resonate, I think, for a few weeks, maybe even longer than that. But with everyone, and I said this last night with Billy on the show, with everyone looking for that number one shutdown defenseman to try and get rid of a guy like Mike Green with his offensive ability, everyone in the National Hockey League is looking for a Mike Green as well.
Right.
You can't give up that ability to move the puck from deep in your own zone, get it inside the offensive end, create those power play chances, and really have that offensive threat on that point, because everyone is looking for those two things, and sometimes you can't have both at once.
Right.
What is clearly the biggest deal of the offseason was getting Backstrom locked down, getting his contract. After that, what do you think the most important? Because not a lot of moves have been made. You brought back a lot of guys. What do you think the most important thing that they've done? Is it stay the course? Is it the fact they didn't panic after they lose in the first round of the playoffs and go out and spend a lot of money?
Well, I would say that not panicking is something that they really need to do. And in terms of the regular season, you just can't fast forward to the playoffs. You've got to play these 82 games. You've got to try to continue to get better as a unit. Locking down your key players always important in any sport, no matter what team you follow, and then build around the core. The Capitals have 4 of the best core players in the National Hockey League, and if they can build around them, they're going to have a good position battle at the center spot here in training camp to see which players are going to fill those holes that are possibly left by the departures of Brendan Morrison and also Eric Belanger. So there are going to be some opportunities now for some youngsters in this game today, guys. We've got 2 of the top 8 scorers from the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League from last year, so we'll have a chance to see some offensive firepower today as well.
Now, we got a guy that is 6'8" on this team. I mean, how often is it that you have a guy? I mean, wasn't Lindros 6'6",
He was over 6'4", 6'5".
What I mean, isn't that a huge advantage to have a guy at that type of height on skates? I mean, shouldn't he be an intimidating presence on the ice as well?
Big advantage. When you look at guys like Hal Gill and Zdeno Chara, 2 defensemen in the National Hockey League who are over 6'8" with tremendous wingspan, and 2 guys that Alex Ovechkin says are the toughest 2 defenders he has to play against all season long. So that wingspan is absolutely tough to get around.
Right. That's I mean, to me, that's very exciting, and I think coming into this season this year, there's so many high expectations for this team, Steve. Like what do we? You always say you got to protect for the things that are unknown when you have a very good team. What are those unknowns for this Capitals team that we have to look for to say, okay, that's what we don't want to see out of this team if they're going to be, the team we want to see pushing for that Stanley Cup?
Well, I would say injuries, especially to the goaltenders, is the great unknown in terms of having 2 youngsters, one of which has had a history of some injury troubles. Right now, for me, the great unknown is the fact that Bruce Boudreau is standing right behind.
He sure is. That's a wonderful thing.
Steve, no offense, but we're going to give you the heave-ho.
Well, you know what? The B team is going to vacate, and the A team, I believe, will be taken over. We've got a line change. This is what we call in the biz.
This is a line change. Right. the first line's about to come in. Colby, you rule, man.
Steve.
Thanks a lot, buddy. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Caps coach Bruce Boudreau.